gonna make the profiles boom, 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 boom. What they is, I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is today on Gunner's Profile. What it is real life talk. The realest, the illest, the real shit. What it isn't is added preservatives. You know the shit you put in your Kool-Aid that makes it taste funny? Man, fuck that, right? We're gonna get into some real life shit right here. As you can tell by the thumbnail, that's right there, that's going, right? We're talking about new school homies and old school homies. And it doesn't matter if it's norte or sur or perros. Oh my, right? New school and old school. And I've had a different philosophy, a change of heart, a different way of thinking, a different mentality. Things have changed over the last few weeks. Why? Because they're righteous. They're real, right? And I like to keep it real, realer than the real deal, Holyfield with 2 ears. So I felt that if I'm going to put some motherfucking paint where it ain't and give you some knowledge that you can't get in college, I must keep it real, right? For the longest, anyone that's been watching my channels, Gunners Collective as well as Gunners Profiles, you know, and you felt that I've had some type of animosity or some type of slight when it comes to talking about this new school, this new generation of younger homies. And that could be furthest from the truth, right? Now, my truth is not necessarily your truth, but truth is truth, homes. Facts are facts, and they shall remain, right? And so what I wanted to talk about was my era, the old school, compared to this new school era, and how it takes men like me from that era, you know, to give these guys props. It takes us to fucking take the higher road and say, you know what? These youngsters, hey, mind your own or your own will remind you. Shit, right? What happens is when you start to belittle this younger generation and this new crowd and the way they're doing their gangster shit, you're going to force them to remind you. You're going to force them or put them in a certain situation where they're going to have to let you know exactly how to get into some real life gangster shit, right? The thing never changes. Okay, Raza, listen up close, right? My brothers, listen up close. My Africano-American community. My white guys, I'll sprinkle you in the woods. Listen up close, right? Everybody got a little bit of gangsterism. Everybody got a little bit of gangster in them. Okay, it's just something that we're instilled with, we're born with. Now, there's two different things. There's gang members and there's gangsters, right? There's people that join gangs because they want to be part of. They want to feel part of that familia, part of that structure, part of that being, you know, something. And then there's gangsters, motherfuckers that are just built that way, cut from a different cloth, chiseled from a different pierda. People that just are that way. They just don't give a fuck, right? In a menudo style and direct fashion, they get to it because that's all they know how to do. They were laced one way, and that's the way they roll, right? Now, we could take a look back in the 90s, and I could say, yes, indubitably, no fucking doubt about it. It was one of the hardest eras growing up. But I only say that because that's the era I grew up in. That's all I know. You know, prior to me doing all that, there was other eras like the 80s and the 70s and the 60s where that's all they knew. And they used to tell me, man, you don't know shit. We used to really wiggle, right? With the capital W. West Side, right? They were wiggling over there. And I used to be like, Charlie Holmes, this is when gang banging really started. This is when the shit really hit the fan. So I was getting mierda everywhere, right? And there was. There's no doubt about it. It can't be denied. It's indeniable or undeniable, right? The 90s was when the gangs took notice. They took fire. But again, I say that they took notice. It's always been happening. There's been barrios from the hundreds and the 20s. There's been barrios well established. There's been gang warfare, right? Does it help our communities? Does it help our people? Charlie? Not in the least. But what it does do is it puts it out there exactly what you're going to be. Okay, are you going to be about that life? Or are you going to be about that, fuck that, right? I'm cool with that shit. So I can't, see, the way that my bank account works, guns, is if I go down that street and they don't like me on that street, they're going to do me bad on that street, right? So I'm going to go over here on this street where they'll do me slightly bad, but not as bad as on that street, right? Because there's some real gangster shit going on that street. Motherfuckers is different, right? And you need to understand and recognize that. Now, the era I grew up in, we had a certain stilo, a certain flavor, a certain way we dressed, a certain way we carried our attitudes, a certain way we looked, a certain way that when we hit that fucking block, Holmes, we already knew what time it was. We were accustomed to a fight was a fight, a shooting was a shooting. Shit was going to happen. You know, it came to the point where you woke up and you were like, okay, it is what it is. And it was just like prison. You know, it was rocking so hard in the 90s, the late 80s, early 90s, CYA, prison, that a fight, a fucking battery packing, a pedazo in your fucking head, all that became commonplace. It was normal. The normality of it was a trip. The treacherousness of it was real. You became used to it. In fact, if you didn't see a fight that day or you didn't see something happen, well, goddamn, something's going on here. Someone's about to get hit, right? Something was going to get icky sticky because it became so normal that you expected it. Your expectations were, okay, we're going to have breakfast. Someone's going to get stabbed. We're going to go to chow. There's going to be about 3 or 4 fights. Then, of course, we're going to come back for lunch. We're going to eat our comida. Hopefully, the homeboy has a sopa that he should forward me because he owes me, right? I'm going to eat that, and then I'm going to get in a fight. And then after I'm doing that, I'm going to go to the school area, and then I'm going to stab someone. It just became part of your routine, part of the daily existence of gangbanging and living, okay? Now, for me to speak on this younger generation and what they got going on now would be frivolous, okay? And I've realized that now. And not because somebody checked me or because somebody told me. It's because I sat back like a grown man that I am, and I've changed, gente. I've changed in my views on a lot of things. You know, I can't be out here rocking the narrative for the raza, by the raza, for the people, by the people, and not really pay attention to what's going on around me and seeing these youngsters for what they are. Just the younger generation handling their business. Okay, it might look different to me. The pants might be a little bit more snug, right? The hats might be a little bit more saucy, right? The nails might be a little bit more painted. But at the same time, I can't belittle what they're doing in the game, okay? Now, I've said it time and time again, raza, that I believe that the hip-hop generation, I believe social media, I believe a lot of this is playing into the part of gangsterism nowadays where we didn't have that. Shit, we got phones at the end of my gangster tenure, right? So I didn't know how to act. So the communication was real. So can we go kill him right now, right? Everybody was on their hype. Okay, whereas now it's a computer age. It's different. There's a lot more accessibility to get to one's enemies. Pull up, okay, right? And motherfuckers will pull up, or they see you on social media, what they call lacking, and they roll up to your spot and they tear your dome off right there on live TV. Or make sure you hit that like and subscribe, right? And that's just how it is. Things have changed, but I don't think they've changed for the better or for the worse. I think they've maintained. They just have maintained on a different level, gente. A whole different level. It doesn't make us from the past any more better than these guys of the future or vice versa. I think everybody is on their gangster shit, right? Now you say to yourself, and I know you say self, right? Who cares? Who gives a fuck about some gangsters, man? Go out there and gangsterism that money. Go out there and get that bag for your family. Go out there and be a better man, a bigger man, a family man. And you know what? I fucking agree, right? But we're never going to be able to stop it. Racket don't smoke and racket don't joke and racket bust a cat like the killer, right? So we're never going to be able to stop it. We're never going to be able to pull people away from what they truly believe or the cause that they're representing. You need to understand that. You need to adhere that. You need to fucking grasp that, grip that, tip that, flip that, spit that, hit that. Whatever you need to do, right? You need to imagine it like a great big pussy waiting to be fucked. Orderly Arby's, right? And understand that that's just the way it is. Some things will never change. Orderly Pac said it. Fill him up with unleaded. He'll take a half tank. You got a little bit more money than I do. Things are different, right? So for me to have this platform, to be Gunners Collective, Gunners Profiles, and to sit here and bullshit you guys and talk about how big and badass we were in the 90s and how we were so dangerous, homes, and these guys don't know shit, man. Charlie, the game is not watered down. I know a lot of people like to say, gun, the game done changed. It's watered down now. Fuck, no, it's not. Nope. I disagree. Spencer, you're entitled to your own opinions, but I disagree, and I'm going to tell you exactly why I disagree. See, I'm going to put some context behind the question and behind the answer, because that's just the way I am. I'm going to give it to you actual and factual and a little bit of smactual, right? Sounds good? Like a smack addict, right? You got to put it in there. Now, the reason I say the game ain't watered down, because these are still Mexicanos. These are still Africanos. These are still people that are about their cultura. People that still have the same fucking sangre coursing through their veins. People that still have that same mentality. The look is just different. The mentality isn't. Okay? People will still tear your whole shit off. They just make it easier for themselves now. The only thing that has changed, and change is always a great thing. The only thing that has changed is these guys aren't playing this bullshit no more. They're not knuckling up. You better buckle up, right? They're not doing that no more. They're not breaking their nails. They're not wasting their time. They're not going to bicker back and forth, homes. They're just going to pull up and tear your top off straight up in a ghost fashion. Why? Because things are more accessible to them now that weren't in the past for us. If we would have had access to all kinds of heavy artillery and things of that nature, we would have used it. Believe that. That's a guaranteed actual factual fact, right? We would have did that because that's what we does, cuz. Oh, power! Believe me, we would have did that, right? So I can't take nothing away from these youngsters that are out there handling their business and doing their thing. You know I've been told in the past, just these past few months, hey, Gun, you're always hating on the youngsters. Hey, Gun, you're never showing us our respect. Hey, Gun, we're about the business. And I always say to them, you ain't got nothing to prove to me, bro. I'm just the next man like you. You have actually nothing to prove to me, and I have zero to prove to you. But what I do have within myself, and I do know, is I have that mentality to guide and help. Okay? Whether it be in the gangster realm of things or it be in the man realm of things. And when I say man, doesn't mean a gangster isn't a man. It just means in the going out there, getting it and get to that work type shit. I can help you in either way. Okay? Because I've been down both roads. I continue to struggle down one. Okay? Just because I'm no longer living that gangster life and got that gang mentality and doing it for a cause, a reason, and a rhyme doesn't mean I done forgot. Just because I'm not active doesn't mean I can't get active. Just because I'm not out there wiggling doesn't mean I don't know how to wiggle, right? I know what I'm doing in life. I know what benefits me and my familia, and I know what benefits those around me. Okay? I ain't forgot about shit. See, I got one of those keen minds, homes, that never forgets nothing, right? Never, ever. And that's just the way it is. Menudo, okay? Now, a lot of you people ask me, what the fuck does menudo mean? These youngsters, you got them out here saying menudo, right? What it means, homes, is like the kiss of death, right? I'm going to knock your fucking head so far fucking backwards, homes. In the morning, you're going to be crudo and need menudo, right? It's something that I learned from my homeboy and something I ran with. I choose to run with. That's what menudo means. In a menudo style, in a direct fashion. Direct fashion meaning we ain't fucking playing. We ain't going this way. We ain't going that way. We're coming directly at you, homes, for the menudo, right? Straight up. Now, it doesn't never have to go that route. It doesn't always have to get physical, okay? But it has to get real. And it has to stay real. Okay, you can't fucking do things to benefit you and then do things that don't. It either benefits you when it's real, homes, or it's not at an 8. And that's just what it is. Okay, so I'd be a motherfucking poop butt, a loud mouth, and a big mouth home to sit here and say that my era was any more better than the next era, because it wasn't. It was just different. Time and opportunity and everything demands change. And that doesn't mean that fucking, wait up, man, I done fucking opened up a new window over here. Span Psalms, you know what I mean? Things need to stay and accordingly, okay? Now, living that gang life, being a norteño, having homeboys that are sureños, southsiders, perros, which I do now. I have homeboys and friends. I consider camaradas and friends from everywhere, homes. I'm able to sit back and chop it up and listen to their war stories and listen to the places they've been and things that they've seen, and to realize that it wasn't much different from the life that I lived. Okay? And a lot of it ain't different from the life I'm living now, that I continue to live. Okay, and then I've talked to older heads, older than me, who told me how it was back in their days. Wasn't too much different, right? And now I'm talking to these youngsters, man. I'm starting to really sit down and listen to them instead of making them listen to me. See, it's all good when you're the older head and you're giving glecha, homes. You're the maestro and you're giving game, and they're soaking it up like a motherfucking SpongeBob, right? But what's different now is now I'm listening to them. I've had enough in my mentality to realize, you know what? Maybe I should hear them out. Maybe I should hear what they got going on. And you know what? Guess what? The wind's blowing. Newsflash. Ready for bingo, right? It's not different. The look, the stilo, the attitude, a few things have changed. But for the most part, they're still out there gripping the grain, homes, trying to get it. Wood grain gripping. Never once get caught slipping. If you do, hats getting tipped in. And that's just what it be like. I understand that. It's time for the gente to understand that. Now, raza. And I'm talking to you, as well as the Africanos. We're born that way, humps. We're born impoverished. Most of us are born into the gangster mentality. Most of us have familia and generations before us, homes, that were doing that because they had less than. They didn't have a lot. They grew up in the ghetto. They grew up in the barrio. They grew up, homes, not having an option or a choice. But nowadays, homes, we do have choices. Okay, if we don't have choices for us, for ourselves, we do have choices for our children and for this newer generation. It is up to us to help them to prosper and to have the propensity to prosper. Okay? So instead of belittling them and clowning on them and talking about their watered down, you know what I mean? You need to mind your own or your own will remind you. You know what I mean? Say it with your chest, not your ass, Wes Watson, right? People like that individual, listen, just because we can, let's talk about Wes Watson, because we can, and we will. People like him, they try to mold the mentality a certain way. Now, I'm not going to say everything he doesn't say is righteous. He's trying to get you to build body, mind, and spirit according to his agenda and his program. He forgets to tell you about the steroids. That'll really help you build, right? But he's not telling you all that. But he's feeding our children and he's feeding the gente bullshit. Lies. He's basing it upon cagada, mierda. That means, for the brothers out there that don't understand, that means bullshit, right? He's trying to fill the youth's minds with bullshit and sell them a dream. I'm not selling dreams, homes. I'm speaking in realities. I'm speaking in righteousness. I'm speaking in facts, homes. I'm a true believer, and the only way for our people to prosper and to get ahead in life is to work hard. Get off your lazy, fat asses and work hard. But I ain't even fat. That's my old lady. Well, tell her to get off her fat ass and wash dishes. Either way, let's help each other to help each other, right? So in the past, I've talked about the difference between new school gangsters and old school gangsters and how there's a difference, and there really isn't, bro. Other than the way we dressed. Orderly Miller's Outpost, stand up. Silver Taps, you know what it is. Other than that and a few other little minute details, we're all the same here. We're all going to stay brown, homes. We're all going to stay black. We're all going to stay white, homes. We are all going to be people. It's the attitudes that change. It's the mentality and the mind state, right? If you're going to be a gangster and you're going to live that life, homes, be it to the fullest. Don't ain't no half stepping this one. Dedicated to the posse, the sound of the author, the bitches just jock me, the DJ. Orderly, don't get me, orderly 90s, right? Don't get me having flashbacks. But I'm just saying though, you know. Anyways, I wanted to rant and rave just a little bit, gente, because I'm a true believer, and the only way to help people is to speak stuff into existence. I'm going to continue for me and mine. I'm not going to let people belittle me and clown me and talk shit to me. They can do it all they want, but I don't accept it, okay? And I don't think none of these youngsters, when these old heads, myself included in the past, saying, hey, the game's watered down, the shit done changed. Don't accept it, gente. You know? And like I said, for you older guys that are my age, people even before me that talk shit and clown, hey, you better recognize, homes, you're going to force these motherfucking young kids, homes, this younger generation, into showing you just how real life and gangster they can get. And nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. You know, that's the mentality. Nobody wants it. Anyways, with that being said, that's just something I wanted to put out there today on Gunner's Profiles. The differences between old school gangsters and new school gangsters. And I say that there is no fucking difference. Maybe a slight haircut, a Wediger. I don't call them Edgars. I call them Wediger. You know what I mean? You don't know whether to go this way or that way. Wediger, right? At the end, we're all brown. We're all black. We're all white, man. That can never change, and people see that for what that is, right? So in order to prosper, in order to get to that bag, in order to be the gangster that you truly want to be, if that's what you want to be, homes, then do it righteously, however you do it. It don't matter, man. There's different stilos to this shit. There's different levels to this shit, man. Be about your shit, man. Be about your shit. Anyways, in a maneuver style and direct fashion, I wanted to say, man, I hope that you get everything that you got coming to you. Remember, man, only you can go out there and strive the way you want to strive. Only you can be how you want to be, and only you can go out there, grip it and grain it for your family. You know what I mean? It's all about your familia at the end of the day, man. Blood is always going to be thicker than water. Unless you're in Tracy, where the water was fucking thick and brown. But none of you guys will never experience, because again, that's from the old school. Bang, bang. With that being said, if you like this, please hit that like and subscribe with that thumbs up one time. If not, you get a thumbs down. That's the mentality of some. You know what I mean? Heavy is the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive and struggle for what I truly believe in, which is what's going to benefit all people, homes, righteously. Facts. This is the gun. I'm coming. Bang, bang.